things on the frontier of a fantasy world, because that's what we're doing here. Hi, this is episode 4, part 3. So we just saw that Sir Casting Gress and his retinue of town guardsmen have showed up to the our little outpost here. Looks like they got kicked out from their previous position. There seems to be a little bit of animosity there. Do you guys want to do a scene of any kind before? Otherwise, I can push forward if we want.
Well,
I have
no,
a couple things.
I've made an excellent impression on his men and on him. Me and my sister go off and definitely bang, but we don't need to cover that in grotesque detail. I guess what happens next? I think
Lawrence wants to talk to somebody.
Okay.
Laurenthal is going to she's like finished. Never mind. She like goes up to she like knocks on Swan's door, but she does it with like her like forearm. She's like wiped blood off her nose.
Yep. Yes, it's open.
Swan, do you have a moment?
I believe that I do.
We need to talk. May I come in and sit?
Would you like some mead?
No, thank you. I prefer to stay sober for hard conversations.
I immediately pour mead for myself and start drinking heavily.
Swan, I know you don't like me, and I don't like you, and it's time I tell the truth about things. I was, to some extent, sent here to make sure that Father Demetrius didn't have an apocalyptic streak. But
what does that even mean?
He's part of a sect. His cousin told me about it. He's part of some type of sect that believes the end of the world is coming. But that's not the main reason I am here. I am here to help establish a new county and establish a spy network and control there to keep the area safe from foreign invaders. I have been sent here without resources, without allies, and I believe I was sent here with people I could not trust. You drew sword on your sister and tried to save my life. You and Odin. I am sorry that my desire to keep my intent secret and my belief that I needed to fear you were... I don't know if they were misplaced, to be honest. But such a hamper to our operations here. I am no assassin. I am a bureaucrat at best. I organize operations. I manage incoming and outgoing information. I'm not a field agent. I'm not, as you can see, holds up stump. But I want to work with you because if we divide, we will be destroyed. Because there is things out in those woods and out in those plains that I am scared of. And I'm not scared of many things. I think she, unless you have something to say, she stands up and leaves the room.
Oh no, I have something to say. Yo, hold up, Dre.
All right.
I got something to say. As you start standing up, Ronald's like, sit down, Lorenthal. When you joined this expedition, you claimed for months to be a secretary and a cook. You suddenly became an agent of the crown, then a poisoner, a spy, assassin. Now you're just a wounded little girl who can't figure out whether she's trapped in her room or not. I can't trust you because you lie constantly, consistently, and it appears to be the only thing that you are good at.
Do you want my life story, Swan?
No,
I'll give it to you.
I don't care anymore. Any trust we could have had, you've burned away repeatedly. And even if we had this conversation yesterday, and somehow I had agreed to trust you. The very first thing that happens when Volgarvian troops arrive is you immediately start shit and get hit with them. You get in their face, trying to start some sort of commotion, trying to spy on them. I don't know what your intent is around here, but all you seem to do is cause trouble.
I tried to be kind to them, and they sent me away because I'm a Numerian. And then I called them a Krutzvik, which means soulless. I didn't reach for their weapon, and then
I don't care
got
about
beaten
any
off my
of that.
back.
I don't care what happened, because I can't trust your accounting of things. All I care about is what happened in the end. That you wound up in a fight after trying to talk to some of my guardsmen.
They are not your guardsmen. They're House Manning's guardsmen.
House Manning has sent them here to help me.
House Manning has sent them here to help the expedition, which I am a part of. Which Omen is a part of, which Father Demetrius in his cloak of.
So,
and if you honestly think that you have the exclusive control of this operation, you are a fool and a liar, because you are lying to yourself.
Everything I've said so far, I would like to put into an ugly truth test to link to a persuasion to my second half of the argument that I'm about to drop. I don't know if that's something we can do, or they need to be done separately or something.
No. What's your intention of the ugly truth test here?
Convince her that she has no place here, because she literally can't be trusted. She just lies constantly, and
You will not be able to convince her of that.
I mean, I need to convince you that that's what I believe.
Yeah.
I think I know that.
Every time I talk to you, you just make up a new lie to cover your previous lie.
Make an ugly truth test against her will, right? Isn't that how that works?
Ugly truth isn't tested against anything except the difficulty, I thought.
Yeah.
The difficulty when targeting a player character is my will.
Yeah. Not the will pool, but will. The raw will score.
I mean, I can do that, but that's not how I read the skill. I thought it's like ob 1 to convince someone of an ugly truth that relates to them, and it's like ob 4 to convince them of a complex political situation.
That's possible. I don't know anything about ugly truth.
I wasn't aware that it was a
Oh,
versus.
wait. Ugly truth is a singular ability to strip a situation to its core. Studying the obvious. Ob 1, ugly truth about family. Ob 2, ugly truth about your friends. Ob 3, ugly truth about the complex political situation. Ob 4, ugly truth about a nuanced or delicate situation. Ob 5, ugly truth that can be used in a duel of wits. Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to use it for anything except to state a fairly obvious conclusion that she lies consistently and with no regard for the truth. Just lies to cover other lies.
She doesn't disagree, though, so I don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't sound like
there's no test here. I don't.
Yeah, this is just a yes situation.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm responding to the intent behind the situation to say that you are the one in charge.
I am the
that's
one.
where. Yeah, but that's where she disagrees and is also not technically true.
Okay.
I mean, you believe that. That's true.
Yeah, but it's not the truth. It's not the end of the argument. That's a persuasion test.
No, I'm telling you right now, this is my argument. I am the one in charge.
So,
Sir Onan no longer has the time to wield the sword of Damocles over my head and claim that he has some command over the entire military situation simply because he has troops. I am the one who was sent on this expedition as the leader. I'm the highest ranking noble, and it's fairly clear that I'm the only one that's even bothered to attempt to solve anything. While Onan is out gathering shit, I'm the one summoning up allies and gathering what we need from the local populace. Unless you somehow think the bandits will be defeated by a pile of feces, Laurenthal.
We need to know what's out there.
Maybe they'll be defeated by sending me a letter that I immediately throw in the fire. Do you think that will help us defeat the bandits? Someone who is doing something is who is in charge. I'm in charge.
We need a test.
On the subject and say what you want to say.
All right, we need. This sounds like.
I'm tired of all this quality. Tell me what your argument is.
My argument is that you have no purpose out here anymore. You cannot be trusted by the members of this expedition. You cannot be trusted by our newly arriving troops. You are not liked here. You are not wanted here. But there is something you can do to help this expedition and to complete your mission.
What are you trying to get out of
here,
this?
but you do when you are back at home. I wish for
Last
when
line.
you have enough, return to the Queen and ask her to send more aid. I will even accept Sertovan aid out here if it comes to it, because this is no minor matter. We were sent completely underprepared for the level of response that we have out here. I don't know how to fight magical sorcerers and dead gods and some stag lord. I want to point out, this man carrying a golden mark, this is not some minor bandit. No one takes the time to forge such a emissary passport on the assumption that his men will not just steal it and sell it somewhere else.
Swan, I don't disagree with you.
And it's time for you to go home, Laurenthal, as soon as you are ready.
Swan, if you
That's
want me
Count
to leave,
Swan.
Swan.
Count Swan.
If you want me to leave, then you will have to send me home without breath. She stands up and leaves.
Okay, then no roll is necessary because you will just walk away from it.
Yeah, I'm just like, if you want me to go, you're going to have to kill me. Or at least make an attempt on my life. Because my duty as a spy master fucking comes first.
I mean, it seems like the only thing you're spying on right now is a hill. And a pile of feces. Yeah, I mean, I would have hoped we got more rolls out of that with such intense discussioning, but I think I've made myself clear.
Like,
Well-
you're not going to convince her that she needs to leave because she doesn't want to. Like maybe if you wanted to roll something to like, maybe there's a different roll here, and that's like putting the seed of doubt in her own abilities. Like, that would be the only role I could see you being able to make.
I mean, at some point, we're just going to not let you back into the fortress when you go outside.
So, okay. AP, or
Yes.
if Count Ronald wants to convince her of this, the only way you can do that and see the merits of that would be a persuade test. Especially, and this is not this is not a duel of wits, because this is just you doing this, right?
I mean, it sounds like she already got up and walked away from it. I would love to make a persuade test, but I don't know that it has merit here unless Michael says it does.
Well, that you could still get up and walk away, and then the impact of this could still unfold later, right?
If your intent is to convince her to leave, it's not going to happen.
But so persuade isn't mind control.
She is not open to being persuaded.
Persuade.
That's kind of
Okay.
an assumption.
So let me read
Not in
how.
her best interest to go home. Persuasion specifically requires it to be the best interest. It's not a persuade test. If anything, it is an ugly truth test. Because he is right. He did distill it down to, I have been shit, and I agree with that, so it's the truth, and you can hit me with that. And that will make me doubt my ability to stay here, but it won't make me leave. That's the role I see out of that conversation.
Okay.
I mean, I did try to convince you it's in your best interest to go home. Whether
Yeah.
you believe that or not, that is exactly what I did.
Oh, you replaced your really nice drawings with tokens.
So what you could do is say, yeah. No, that would to
I
do
don't see
that.
the pile of shit anywhere on the map.
Basically, to convince her of that would require a duel of wits, and she basically agreed to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, again, I
Okay.
agree that is what happened.
Okay. I didn't know it was again. I'm sorry. Okay, because
Yep.
I actually changed what it was in my head originally, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, she definitely doesn't want to discuss this, which means
Yeah.
it's time for everyone else to keep meeting and talking about how we don't want her here. And I will keep kicking out the table on all of her possible allies. At some point, I would like to try to make a circles test. I mean, it doesn't have to be immediately, but I want to summon up a little bit more backup.
Okay. Well, do you want to do that now? Because if you want to do that now, I was going to say some time's going to go by, and then the Huntress is going to show up too.
Yeah. By summing up some backup,
Shoshone
what I
is
really
gonna show
mean is, even though we now appear to be at odds and enemy, I still have a purchased relationship with my sister.
Yeah.
And so one way or another, if not meeting face to face, I would like to send her a letter offering her a pardon for her personal crimes if she aids us against the bandits and has relevant information about the Stag Lord, and that if she does not respond within 30 days, that she is cast out of House Swan for her crimes and will be judged as any other common bandit would be.
So, that's not a circles test, though. That's just part of you having a relationship with your sister.
Sure,
Is that you can
sure.
that happens, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So then, okay. Well, she's back at the Stag Lord's fort.
Okay, well, I
so we
assume
might
the letter
see- I
gets
know,
there
but-
through
I
some
know.
backcountry network of like
Yeah, I know.
hunters who are on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, or it's like staked to like a something somewhere, and like it gets
Next to the shit tree.
serendipitously, to a tree,
Yeah.
and serendipitously gets grabbed or whatever, and it's brought forward, and like so then we see the scene of her taking this letter. They're in some kind of fort in the woods. It's a nice fort. It's like a stone keep, and she starts reading it out. Being like, if I say anything about the Stag Lord or whatever, everything exactly how you just said, I should be offered pardon and stuff, and they're kind of like mocking it.
Yeah, but I don't care what they think. There's only two people in the bandit camp that I care about, her and the Stag Lord.
Yeah, and we see a bunch of like people like stringing bows and like kind of like getting ready and like preparing different like weapons and tools and stuff like that. And
I have a question. When you're saying they're getting ready, is this more Lion King be prepared ready, or is it more Mulan be a man ready?
More be a man ready.
Okay, all right. That's way more terrifying, actually.
Yeah, it's more it's less
There's
about like training drills, and it's more about literally like sharpening swords and like making arrows kind of thing.
I mean, that's be prepared ready. I mean,
So it's more like
sorry, that's be prepared ready.
it's more like the scene in Lord of the Rings when we see that Isengard is militarized.
yeah.
They see a pile of they're just sharpening it. They're really crappy Urukai blades and just like throwing it on a pile, and there's a million of them.
Dun.
Exactly.
I'm just amazed how Eric puts the effects of rolls over the narrative world. Just everything just stops just to punish a player for not having a good number randomization. Yeah. Well, that's why the fiction works, man. When there's a rule in the game, we're playing a game. So.
And also, I think.
I mean, I
both of
was
those-
also gunning to be beat up.
and also, both of those examples were good narrative moments.
Yeah. So what?
They may have come about mechanically, but they were good.
So
Are we done with the session at this point? Are we having like a post?
No, just resuming the
post-mortem?
scene though. No, like the last part would be resuming the scene and seeing the we see the Stag Lord for the first time, and he's like a shaggy humanoid, is the best way of putting it. Kind of like standing on like the seat of this hall, wearing like a long like bear skin kind of cloak, like thick, scarred, heavy, like meaty forearms. There's a bow next to him, but on instead of like wearing a crown or anything, he's like literally wearing a skull of a stag on his head, and like you can't see his eyes or anything like that. You just like see his like 5 o'clock shadowed face. Like the bottom part of it looks like horribly scarred. And he's like kind of like sitting there, kind of like he's holding, like dangling a bottle of some kind of like drink near him, or a bunch of like empty bottles of drink, and he's like, "Who is this Ronald? He thinks he could do these things. He'd be the first to die." He's like,
I like him.
slurring.
Let's be friends.
He's like just very, very drunk, and kind of like a sleepy kind of drunk way. But
Very
Yeah.
drunk and sleepy.
yeah, like he's like in almost like a stupor, but it makes it, but like it kind of gives the illusion of this scene of him like his like head is like this guy kind of like rocking back and kind of has this sort of like spooky thing because of like the thick cloak and like the skull kind of thing. He looks troubled. But anyways, that's all we see. So let's do some experience. Okay. So, the way we do experience is always through collecting and earning it from Artha. So, let me go find the page in the book real quick to make sure I don't forget anything about it. But obviously the first thing is that if we played into our beliefs. So who wants to go first with experience?
I think that I work toward fate for my belief on acquire allies in the immediate area immediately. I don't know that that's finished, but I definitely think I move toward it.
I would definitely say that you've earned fate for it, but not persona.
Okay. Second belief. I will save both their lives by convincing Onin to send Lorenthal to her precious queen for reinforcements as soon as she can. I definitely feel as if Onin and I are on the same page about this. At least
fate.
Okay. My instinct for always assure I am properly addressed during the conversation with Lorenthal made it very heated towards the end until she got up and walked out.
Definitely. I mean, you tried, like you attempted at it, right? These are all attempts, like you swung at these things. So I think this is all fate.
By the same manner, when I attempted to convince Lorenthal to come to me rather than go away, and that definitely soured our relationship in the aftermath of that situation. When resting, convince others to see to my needs.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
So you definitely earned fate for that. You earned a lot of fate today.
And I also want to make a case for Imperius during my conversation with Lorenthal, where I was like, I am in command. I am in charge of this and everything.
Definitely.
That's in the story in an unforeseen direction?
Interesting direction.
I think interesting. Yeah, I think interesting. I could see a case for that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let that happen.
All right, that's 5 more fate. I didn't make a single persuasion roll this time around. It's the first time. Very sad. Very sad. That's all I got. It was
do you want to do wreckage next?
strange episode.
Sure thing, if you want to go last.
Sure.
I have resolved to stay against any odds. I must now take responsibility for the survival of my company and do anything I can to ensure their survival. I would say that that's probably a fate because I did patrols. Count Swan is hard to understand. He says it does one thing one day and then another day. He puts me on edge. In his company, I'll keep a grip on my sword and my eyes and ears open. He used that against me in a conversation with an NPC, so I feel like I should certainly get fate for that.
Yeah, but part of this is you working towards these things.
Right, but I did, and then he was like, how dare he do that? I did it. I kept my hand on my sword. I said I keep my hand on my sword in his company, and he said later on, how dare someone do that?
Oh, that's true.
It
didn't. Yeah. I'm gonna give it to us, but in the future, yeah, there was that never would have put forward like, oh man, there would have been a role, and this would have like driven the story in a way. Right.
I feel like it's going to drive the story between us in the future.
Yeah, that's true though.
Ronald is feeling a lot more confident now that he's not alone, and he has 30 men to counter the dozen that Sir Onin's been using to swagger.
I've never done that.
I mean, my hesitant interactions with you have always been because I'm worried that you might just murder me in the night, and now I no longer have that worry.
All right, that's fine, but I just want to make sure, out of character, that we remember that Onin has never used his military might as a threat in combat.
Not specifically as a threat, but you've just done whatever you felt like doing rather than listening to me.
Yeah, because you're not in charge.
Yeah, but now I am in charge.
But no, you're not.
You're exclusively not.
I've always been in charge, and now that I have the troops to back it up, I'm going to.
It's an ugly truth that you are not in charge.
And I will remember that moment when
Doing
you
bits.
my presence with a sword on your hand.
We're doing bits.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to listen. This entire bit was me helping you. You didn't do anything but put a sword on your hand, and I was the one who was like, "This is a big deal."
yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
And I'm telling you the consequences of that action because that was a marker in the upper left-hand corner during the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Telltale Games.
Yeah, you will remember this. I got 2 of those this session. Now that I have resolved to stay, I should have killed Emma Swan rather than rescue Laurenthal. It was the wrong tactical decision, but I must make the most of it, starting with getting use out of Laurenthal. I tried to get use out of her, but that's a lost cause. This belief is gone. After she picked the fight with the soldiers and got beat up, I am not going to try and get any more use out of her. I'm not going to kill her, which is what Ronald might ask me to try and do, since those are the stakes that she's put forth. But I am no longer, as I said, Thrain says something thrice looked upon as a distraction. She's a distraction. She's no good. So that belief is done. And nothing to do with bandits today, so we didn't get the 4th one. Never judge a book by its cover. That was the whole Laurenthal thing, but not really on its own or anything. Always meditate word and gorum, didn't do that. And when others hesitate, take charge. I feel like when others hesitated to take charge, I did that to break up the fight with the other man's soldiers. But there was no consequence for that. There was no negativity. It was all positive. So it didn't make your life. Didn't really make your life difficult, and it did the opposite. Yeah. So just pointing out that is why that happened. Yeah. I am aware that it is all positive. So that's my stuff. I think that's all.
Okay.
All
I have one question left for you, my friend. Mm-hmm. When you resolve to stay against any odds, I must now take responsibility for the survival of my company and do anything I can to ensure their survival. I feel like you encompassed that very, very, very well when you went on your scouting trip, right?
Yeah. Yep.
My question to you, though, is do you feel that is complete?
No, I feel like I got fate for that, not Persona.
Okay. Yeah, okay,
I feel like it's an ongoing thing to continue to ensure their survival.
Okay. Once again, yeah. Cool. Just as a future thing, and I'm not the best at this, but if you ever want Persona in a way that continues that sort of ethos of doing what you can to ensure their survival, add one more sentence to those beliefs. Starting with doing task X.
Yeah.
If you ever want Persona, that's how you just get Persona while doing the same thing. But if you want to have this sort of overarching ideal to keep pinging for fate or farming fate, is how they kind of I guess people describe it, then leave things like that. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
My turn?
Yeah.
Fate. For you can break my bones, you can take my hand, but if anyone tries to shake my resolve, they will see what it means to face the rage of an Numerian. I started a fight. Fate. Onin Solstein saved my life. I owe him and will use my skills to help him keep this place safe. I did my best. I told him about the mountain trolls. I helped him with scouting as best I could. I tried to ingratiate the soldiers to us, and that failed. My heart and soul live with Natalia back home. I miss her desperately, but staying here is the only way we can stay together. That is entirely why I would not allow myself to be convinced. Always be honest with my allies. I think I got fate for that. My duty as the spy master for the Stolen Knights comes first.
Yeah. The reason why I say that is I think the decision to not engage Swan in the Duel of Wits, I think that's just as irrelevant, or just as relevant, not irrelevant, excuse me, just as relevant and at least fate worthy for that.
Never trust a man with unchecked power.
Hell yeah, that got you in fucking. That started the whole thing.
Off
With the
kilter.
fight.
Shit.
See, here's the problem with traits like off kilter, and I want to know like what you guys think of it, because it's like playing into off kilter means you will automatically drive things in an interesting way, but that's intentional of off kilter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's so. Here's my opinion. Off kilter has basically poisoned her character on the entire party, and no one is willing to do work with her. So
Yeah, that's true.
At the very least, she should be getting fate for it.
Yeah.
Off kilter, worldly, because I sat down. I feel like I sat down and had a very frank, hey, this is the deal conversation with Onan. So I think I got fate for worldly. Strange, I feel like I got fate for. I called someone without a soul. Matriarchal, I don't think anything came of that, and I did all kinds of stuff dumb because of my missing hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Not missing hand though.
Not missing hand? That's the
drive
entire...
that didn't drive any. But traits have to drive the story in an interesting, different way than they would be played out already, and I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't think your hand came up.
You brought it up, and it was good flavor for things, but you got rewarded for that, for it being good flavor. I don't think that was Artha worthy.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, I don't think it did.
I think you earned Artha for off kilter and worldly, especially the Numerian curse stuff. But
did I get one for brutal? Maybe
because that drives things in an interesting way. No.
Definitely strange. Definitely worldly and off kilter. Okay.
Yeah, strange, off kilter, and worldly. I would give you, because you fucking picked a fight, and then we had to see Onan step in and like swoop in and stuff. So I get that. That's cool. But I'm sorry, I can't give it to you for your hand thing yet. Yeah.
I mean, how am I supposed to? Okay, whatever. That's 9 extra fates. I go up to 25. I'm probably retired. We might get one more session out of Laurenthal, but I don't expect it to last much longer. All right.
Okay, here's a good question. Here's what Niren says in chat. Notice the difference between instincts and traits. Instincts did the character get in trouble, and traits are the story in unforeseen direction or character in trouble. Did they get the character in trouble? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so I think I've been applying instincts as traits judgments instead of the other way around. That's fine though.
So do
I'll fix that. I'll fix that in the future. That's something that.
Right.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna keep that. I'm actually going to take what you said. I'm gonna put it in my notes as sort of like my GMing guide for when I'm doing this. Something to be on the lookout for.
Okay.
Thank you. That's really helpful. All right, guys. Cool. You want to talk about the session at all? Do some outros or just go to outros? A little bit of time.
At some point, talk to Sumire. Just saying.
Yeah, I think we'll start next time with Sumire Shoshone showing up, right?
I thought everything was top notch this episode. I really liked everything that happened. I liked the flavor of the world building. I liked the interactions with the NPCs. I liked the interactions between our characters. I thought we did really well for having one of our characters absent, and I want to thank Eric for doing a good job GMing. And I, as ever, look forward to next week to see where this goes.
Oops. All right. Yeah, thanks.
Oops what?
Oops, I accidentally I tried to move something off my desktop to go to OBS, and I accidentally imported the version 7 map of Duskfall into Burning Crowns overlay.
Oh, okay. Well, here we see the beautiful city.
It was in the way. I was trying to move it out of the way, and I accidentally dragged it into the screen. So, hey, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I've been struggling, and I've been trying to modify my GM style a little bit.
Burning Wheel does require a very specific mindset when it comes to GMing, which is very weird.
Like, what do you mean by that? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not.
Burning Wheel
making you defensive. I'm genuinely interested.
Burning Wheel sort of comes from this, like, when you look into the history of when Burning Wheel came out, it sort of comes from this weird ethos of games are sort of supposed to have like 3 elements. They're supposed to have like conflict mechanics, narrative, and simulation mechanics. And Burning Wheel has a lot of those. And managing all three of those at once and figuring out what takes precedent when is very, very complicated. Because there are probably times where we should be making rolls to simulate what we're doing. Like, honestly, at 2 dice, I probably should have rolled to remember that curse word. But we didn't do that because we're a more narrative-focused play group.
Yeah.
We also probably should have rolled the minute we got into that conversation between me and Swan.
Well, yeah, I think
didn't
that's just our personal... Yeah.
It's an interesting... It's interesting navigating the way Burning Wheel tries to deal with, like, dealing with problems. I think Burning Wheel is an interesting game. And it does require very specific...
Real quick, though, I forgot. What about anything sort of... So I know like MVP and that kind of stuff comes up later at like the end of arcs or something, but what about like, I think embodiments every
embodiments is every...
as well as like humor or like right skill, right time kind of thing. Anybody have something they think plugged in there?
I think Thalia should get that award for her excellent response to what happened. I feel like that embodied her character the most.
That feels a little bit like punishing Sam for not being here, so I say we don't do that one.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll just give it to Thalia. She's an NPC. What is she going to do with Artha?
Not die?
Yeah.
My plan has finally come up now that one of my characters has Artha. No, I'm just kidding.
Now that one of my NPCs has Artha.
All right. So awesome.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got about 10 minutes or so. Do you want to wrap up now, or do you want to talk a little bit more about the game? I don't know. How are you guys feeling? I want to ask you guys on screen, like, how are you feeling about Burning Wheel?
I don't know. I think part of my frustration is I designed Laurenthal to do a certain thing and she's not doing that.
Yeah. Well,
I designed Laurenthal to be about interrogating the fiction. And that's just not what's happening with her. I'm not in a position fictionally where I can't even interrogate the fiction. So I don't know. That's part of the reason I'm kind of like, okay, let's crash this car into a wall and see what happens with her.
Yeah. Well, do you want to like? Okay, so at what point would you rather just like retire and pick a new character? Because it's like everybody hates you now. Do you want to play the game where everybody hates you and we're doing this, or like, do you want to switch and things and maybe you do return home and you come back with another group?
Well, you know what was right? Like Arthur was in the position for a little while where everyone hated him. Laurenthal's in an even worse position where people either hate her or
want me dead.
No, it's not even want you dead. Like the party, whether it hates you or is indifferent to you, has just all agreed that you're worthless. Like
to be fair, it's totally true.
It's so much worse than being hated because, like, if we hate you, we can play off that, and it's like an antagonistic foil thing. Like,
it's this weird. She's sort of she's sort of been written into a wall. So basically, I think I really started running into problems with her when I sort of had been playing her assuming I'd have access to some level of my spy network right away. And when that wasn't the case, I went with the burn it down approach, and boy did things burn. But I don't know if there's anything else. I have another character burned, like they're waiting in the wings. There's significance to that letter that Onan Soulsign didn't look at.
Yay, me.
Eric, I will tell you the contents of that letter in a private message later.
Awesome. Cool. Appreciate it, man.
But I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I want to do with Laurenthal that aren't happening. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna like push the party. I'm gonna be the thing that everybody hates to get the party to work together.
That's not happening though.
No. So here's some things. Here's some things that All right. So no, this is important. So the game has mechanics that tell you if you want things to happen, here's how you have them happen. You have them have beliefs, and you drive things to them. So because I'm still learning Burning Wheel, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm giving a lot of space for you guys to set scenes to make sure that you can have space to hit those things. Because, you're connecting when you're earning Artha. Like, that's part of the stuff. Well, I mean, actually, you're connecting if you're having fun. But, like, you're connecting to the mechanics of Burning Wheels when you're earning Artha. And where actions on screen are what you want to do, and you're earning experience for doing what you want to do. And seeing where that stuff comes into play. That we play is supposed to be at the crucible of those three components, right? It's the crossroads of all those roads coming together. And if that's not hitting, if that's not firing, then that's part of it on me, and like part of it is on us still learning the system.
Well, it's again, when I created her, I had a lot of stuff built in to being able to interrogate the fiction. That was most of my beliefs. It became very apparent that I didn't have the ability to do that narratively.
Well, yeah.
I couldn't get myself into situations where I could make those rolls. At which point, because of the reward structure of Burning Wheel, and this is not a critique of you, this is a critique of the way the system works, I was encouraged to make bad decisions.
Well, you are a spy master without a spy network.
I have that. I'm a person that can write. Like, that's all that she's got. And like, I don't have the circles to found a spy network. I don't have persuasion to counter like all the talking that's happening between the players. So she's kind of a moot point.
No,
she's basically a person that was dropped into this situation that they didn't know how to deal with.
Well, so this is important because this is what's different between Burning Wheel and a lot of the games that I end up playing. Burning Wheel is a slow burn, and you want to play hard and fast. That is like, you want to show up already being able to do something like that. And the only way to do that is to make your character be really, really good at that one thing at the start, or otherwise it's going to be a very slow burn to crawl up to this thing. That's
sort of what I tried to do, right? I gave her skills that I thought would be very relevant to a spy master, that I thought would be good forks.
Yeah.
I paid a lot of money up front for reputation and affiliations.
Totally. And
the house that got burned down. That wasn't my house. But the problem is, I don't have those.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little weird when he had the affiliations and like property, and you were like, no, that doesn't make sense fictionally, especially when we had worked it out ahead of time. That was a little strange to me. And has left Lauren. It has basically crippled Laurenthal.
That is exactly the point. I built this character to be outwardly invested, and they are not. They are not able to call on those investments. So, to me, the best thing that I could do for the party to ensure us succeeding on our goal of founding some type of kingdom, or succeed on our goal of fucking each other over, is to send Laurenthal home, turn her over to you as an NPC, have her go home to be with the person she's in love with, who's probably going to be mad at her for giving up, and play a new character that is better at dueling with stuff on their own.
That's fair.
That's the situation. And again, that's the balancing of narrative and mechanical and simulation, where narratively, Laurenthal shouldn't have had access to her spy network. She just shouldn't have. But mechanically, that's all she's got.
Yeah, there's sort of a disconnect between that and fiction, and I think I failed at incorporating those things, and we should have talked more about character creation for your character for that, per se. Mm-hmm. Something else we should do beforehand is like...
I want to answer the question you originally asked.
Okay.
I want to answer the question of how you're liking Burning Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
So, Eric knows, because we've done a pilot of a podcast where we talk about systems, and because he's played in many systems with me, that I often am the only person to find a criticism in a system. I often am perhaps a devil's advocate for criticizing a system. but usually I like systems. Usually I have something positive to say. I've got nothing positive to say about Burning Wheels. I would never, ever use this system for a game, period, bar none. And if at any point in this narrative you suggested we switch systems, I would be incredibly emphatic for it.
I mean, I came here to play Burning Wheel.
I enjoy Burning Wheel as a game. I think that there are some translation issues we're running into, and part of the reason I've been having kind of a rough time having fun without throwing my character into a wall is I built a bad character.
Personally, I have had no translation issues. I have not built a bad character. I have succeeded at the things I've tried to do. But every time people are talking about the system, I see nothing positive about it. I see nothing that it is doing that another system wouldn't do smoother or with less convolution, less gunk in the gears.
I feel like
love the story we're telling. Love the story and characters, and I'm in love with it, and I will continue to play Burning Wheels to do that story, but I have nothing positive to say about the system.
See, for me, it's Burning Wheel encompass the failures that we're running into are my own as I'm learning the system, and it's as we're climbing this mountain of Burning Wheel, and I really think that I don't know. I'm not ready to give up Burning Wheel.
I want to separate.
I like it. I really like this.
I want to separate my criticism from the discussion with Laurenthal, because the discussion with Laurenthal is about a couple of failures and with the system. There have been no failures with me in my character. I have not felt that at any point like a misunderstanding of the rules has hampered my enjoyment in any way. I just think they're bad. I just think they're garbage.
Tell us how you really feel, Doc.
I feel about Burning Wheels the way that I believe that Arthur feels about Numenera. Whether either of our opinions are like holy.
No, it's not. Listen, it's nothing like how I feel Numenera. Unless Luke Crane personally fucking insults you, your opinions on Burning Wheel and my opinions on Numenera are completely different.
Well, let's wait and see. Maybe Luke Crane is watching and he's gonna insult me on Twitter after this.
I mean, when that happens, we may have similar fucking opinions. But no, continue with telling your opinion. I'm just telling you, it's not mine. It's not mine.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just think this. I just don't have anything positive to say about this system. Couldn't be. I couldn't find a positive thing to say about this system, but I love this story.
That's brutal.
I think we can all agree that we're having a really good time playing in this world. I think we're still struggling with the system, not necessarily fighting us on it. I think we've made some mistakes.
That's fair. I wish Sam was here. We could hear stuff about this too, because I'm really interested in this, and I don't mind talking about this on screen because I think this is important. That as a group, this should be shared. And having people in chat mention things about stuff and bring up things that they've seen and stuff like that is important. And something that I've observed is maybe it's just my personal style and maybe just how player styles mesh and what's going on. See, I've been enjoying this game a lot, and I feel like AP, I want to hear more what you have to say, but I feel like it's not that I've been favoring you, but the way I play Burning Wheel and the things that you've been trying to do, it feels like we've been meshing very, very well mechanically, and it feels like things are going in that sort of direction, but I don't know, is that just what I'm thinking right now? Because it feels like
your favorite. Listen,
you're not my favorite, but we're playing very compatibly.
True, but I'm just telling you, I want to talk to Sumere Shoshone at some point.
I know, goddamn, dude.
No, I'm saying.
Well, man, this is a fantasy.
Show up immediately is a thing, but
there's no teleportation. I can't fucking.
I think it's a fair point to say that Eric has been favoring you, though, because some of that stuff is ridiculous. And again, maybe this is part of the reason where interpretation rules might come in. But oh yeah, you make a circles check and you get a person. I don't know. That's not how. The fact that you haven't seen her yet, I'm still flabbergasted that you're even capable of talking to that person or talking to your sister. Those are things that make no sense to me. In the way that the reason why Laurenthal didn't get a spy network is because it narratively doesn't make sense. I feel like you should not be able to just have your sister show up, which is something you made happen. Like, it shouldn't be able to happen because there's no.
So this is
my sister.
So
showed
listen.
up,
No. This is different. This is different than that. And this is what. So like, all right. This is what I think I remember talking about Laurental's spy network. It's not that she doesn't have a spy network. It's that her spy network can only tell her what's going on at court back in Issia.
That's not
back in New
Like-
Svetven.
Like that's besides the point. This is getting actually pretty negative, and I don't think that's constructive.
Okay.
I think the game we're playing is very interesting. I think that the situation we have found ourselves in is
super fun and interesting.
Super cool. Like it's just got that peppering of weird that makes my nerd senses tingle. Like, Eric, you're doing a phenomenal job with all of that.
Yeah,
I do agree that the kinds of things that Ronald Swan wants to do as a character are more in line with narrative stuff. Totally true. Honestly, I shouldn't just be able to roll a wise and remember something about a random noble I just happen to know. Like, that narratively, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I mean, plenty of people know random ass shit.
I
would assume, listen, in a real life transition, I would assume that you and Wreckage both have Magic the Gathering wise.
Yes.
So
I could say a random card.
That's what Magic the Gathering
Lotus,
is.
and
Yeah,
you
Magic the Gathering
to tell me what it does.
okay.
No,
so this is
I
what makes
certainly
Burning Wheel. This is what makes
A lot
Burning.
of greed.
It's not a Magic the Gathering card.
I know, but
All grade is a Yu-Gi-Oh card that lets you
Magic
draw
the
some
Gathering
cards. I have TCG player wise. Thank you.
Sure.
So here's something that needs to be brought up and addressed, and I think this might help explain a little bit of how Burning Wheel works and why it might make sense that you can do these sort of things like a circles test and what this means. It's not just what you know, it's what you need to know in that moment. And the entire game, more than almost any other game, orbits around the idea that you guys, your characters, are the main protagonists of this fictional story fantasy novel that we're writing. So you guys have a lot of crazy fictional power, and that's why. What separates
favoring me. Yeah.
It's like if you wanted to play like medieval peasant simulator, then fine, we'll remove circles and resources and Artha at all, and we'll just be making these skill tests, and everything would be grueling and really hard.
Yeah,
no, I mean, you could still have those things. You would just fail at them constantly. And it would make things interesting. I want to come back to the favoring of me thing. Just talk about me, my favorite subject, real quick. Maybe you favor me.
Swan and AP blend together.
It's hard for me to judge abstractly how you treat me compared to other people. But I will say that before the game started, we had discussions of what specifically I would like to play. For several months now, I've been like, I would sure love to play a campaign where I'm a really wealthy merchant and I go around making dank-ass business deals and murder my way to the top. And then you were like, let's play Kingmaker. And I'm like, actually, having currently running Kingmaker with you in another system, I might know a bit about this. And I made a character who is specifically designed to be in charge of things and good at exactly what I'm doing. And then doing those things. So it might not be specifically favoring me. Again, I don't know.
No, I just thought, yeah.
I made a character to do a specific thing or set of things, and I'm good at those things. I'm the Liam Neeson Taken of Count Swan.
Yeah, that's
Swan
what. Okay,
is built
so
to do exactly what he
fair.
does.
So
does it?
So that's okay. That's what I wanted to know, because what I was saying by that is because I'm not willing to say that I'm running it right, like running the game well or anything like that. But and I know that it just seems like you are engaging with the mechanics in a way that seems more successful and in a way that's more efficient and effective. Like you made effective, like your effectiveness is higher than other people, and I thought that just might have been because you've also the system better. And this game very much has a system mastery component.
Better than me.
I've played a lot of Mouse Guard, and I've read a lot of Burning Wheel, and I've watched all the Burning Wheel content I can get my hands on, because I do think this is a really good game. I think it is a really good game that comes from a very specific design philosophy. That is, a game should have those 3 core components, and they all should have equal importance. That's not how most games run now. Like, example, when we played, what was the story game where I was a weird golem?
Ball of Magic?
Other weird story game where I was a golem.
The other time that I was a golem.
Wreckage wasn't here, and we streamed it.
Were you named the Crab Dancer of Ustergall?
Was it
No.
the time that you guys played Polaris in
I
my
have no
absence?
idea.
No, that may have been it. We were like trying to kill a lich.
Oh, Follow. We were playing Follow.
Yeah, like Burning Wheel is one of those games that makes narrative assumptions like Follow, but unlike Follow, it has mechanical and simulation systems built in, which just makes for like a really complicated thing if you're not thinking about all 3 of those bits at the same time. Like, Burning Wheel is hard to GM mechanically.
I don't know. Yeah, well, let's... Okay. Well, we're episode 4 in, and I think the proper thing to do would be, like, if we want to, like, move around our stats and stuff like that to other things, I feel like that's still okay to make sure things are more effective. Yeah, we'll talk more about how to get your network and stuff, because you're right. I feel like I totally did fucking gyp you in a very, very, very big way. And I'm sorry about that. I literally crippled you.
I mean, maybe it's time for Laurental's spy network to start crawling out of the fucking reeds. It would certainly make her character more useful to me.
Fucking got it. Fucking got it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I got it. Yeah, dude. How about this? I'm gonna spoil this because I fucking love you guys, and I want you to share in this moment real quick. Shoshone.
Fuck
I specifically picked.
Fuck you,
I specifically picked Shoshone to have no ties to the queen, her court, or anything to do with anyone who wasn't Regarvian.
Fuck.
That was part of the role.
That was part of the role.
That was part of the role.
Never mind.
And since
Damn
she
it.
magically exists because...
All right.
So,
Eric.
All right, never mind then. We'll figure it out, though.
I believe the exact words were, "Get the fucking queen out of my bed, Michael."
All right, that's fair. We'll get this.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Laurental's... All of that can be addressed, no problem.
Yeah.
I think we can figure it out, or she can switch characters, and that's fine too.
I'm pretty excited about this guy I wrote a letter to. So
Yeah. I'd like to know out of character what that letter said, because
I will tell you out of character, but I want to do it off stream so the viewers.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I'm glad that we had this conversation about where we're at in the system, and I want to reiterate that I will continue to play it and follow the rules for the narrative because I love the narrative. Yeah, I'm having a great time, and I can't wait for next Sunday.
Well, Wreckage, I think what you're saying is that you know the rules, and so do I. There's no commitments, what I'm thinking of. We just have to remember that Laurental will die. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. I gotta make you understand.
I'm never going to give you up.
God.
Well, I'm never gonna let Laurental draw another breath. That's for sure. I mean,
All right, let's do some outros.
Hi, I'm Michael. I run a game design page called Swiftite Design. We design weird stuff. I play tested the Circle recently, which is I'm started to sell it as Mage without all the mechanics. It's really fun. You should play it when I make it available for you to actually play. I don't know what I'm saying. Hi, I'm Michael. Follow me on Twitter. Bye.
Cool. Wreckage?
Hi, I am Dr. Wreckage. If you enjoyed me not liking Burning Wheel as a system, then boy, have I got exciting news for you. I criticize and talk about all of the systems that there ever have been, all the time, largely. Follow me on Twitter at Dr. Wreckage. And me and Eric will be doing a podcast very soon that is largely about that. And we will have guests on. And we can have guests on who really like Burning Wheel, and then we can talk about it in more depth, and that's something that we might do. And then we'll have Arthur on for the episode that we talk about Numenera. I do role playing all week for the most part. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to record Stars Without Number podcast, which is live on Tuesday. That's amazing as well. So you can follow me on Twitter to find out about all of those things. And Kelsa is depreciating my criticisms by saying that I have a problem with every system ever, because I expressly mentioned how this is the only system that I have nothing positive to say. That there is a difference. Anyway, I've taken up too much time. Arthur.
Yeah, I'm here. My name is Arthur Perkins. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, all at AP Gaming Real. So much stuff at all of those locations where you can watch a lot of tabletop RPGs with all of these people and others over a variety of systems. Not as many as Eric. A lot of Pathfinder, though. If you enjoy Pathfinder, just open up a library. You got a lot of it.
We even played a little bit of X-Crawl.
I mean, yeah. Right, that's what I got.
All right.
Hashtag no breath.
Cool.
Last breath.
And then, last but not least, I'm Eric. I'm host and GM. So I want to thank you guys so much. I mean, this is important to have these kind of talks about, like, when you're playing a game, man. And, like, this is important for me as I continue to learn and grow as a GM and a player and play role-playing games and stuff like that. And it's important to us to see have these kind of talks, because this is what you should be doing in your game if things are not firing right. So I think we're just keep working at it, figuring out, narrowing it down, and we're only 4 episodes in, and Burning Wheel is a fucking long-term game. So, like, don't worry, we're gonna be back. And if you want to see some more fun, some more awesome shit, tune in 2 hours. I'll be playing more Torchbearer with Stephen Lumpkin and Tris DeRay and Commute and Crow. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna be seeing what's in Spider Peak. Spoilers. It's not just spiders. So anyways, thanks. Take care. See you guys in a little bit. I gotta go fucking eat something before this stream, because I'm very hungry.
You have another stream, Eric?
Yeah,
Go
man.
to bed. Sleep once in a while.
I'll sleep
I don't
when I'm
want you to
dead.
die.
I'll sleep when I'm dead. Take care, everybody. See you guys in a little bit.
When I'm dead.
So that's like 3 days from now, right? At this